Kings, queens, and in-betweens, welcome back to the City Boys podcast. My name is Ethan Thornton, and I am joined by two of my best friends in the whole world. And tonight we are talking about the MLS Cup being officially over. St. Louis City's big news, reporting from Tom Bogert that our head coach has been announced, and then some more St. Louis soccer news because we are tapped into the city and we love it. But before we get into it, let me introduce myself and my co-hosts. My name is Ethan Thornton. I'm joined by Jacob. How are you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. It has been way too long since we have graced our faces on the internet, and I can't wait to be back. This one's been a long time coming. We've taken a little break due to the holiday, and the holiday's coming up, but we are back in full force, and I couldn't be more excited. Grayson, how are you doing tonight?
Dude, I'm doing good. I'm feeling refreshed. Just, echoing the sentiment, I am very excited to be back talking about City, hanging out with the boys. I get to see Jacob all the time. But Ethan, it's good to see you again, my boy. I missed you.
Great to catch up with the guys.
And City fam, I missed you too. I hope you guys are having a fun off season. Pretty good so far. Kind of quiet. But
I was going to ask, how are the weekends, gentlemen? It's a Monday night as we record this. How we doing? It's very cold here in Louisville.
It's very cold here. Grayson and a big group of our friends, we did 12 bars this weekend, which is the charity bar crawl event in St. Louis. And at one point, it was 4 degrees outside.
Oof. I missed that. I'm glad I was too drunk to tell how cold it was because there was a lot of walking. It was a good time, though. It was a good time checking out the St. Louis City nightlife. I honestly haven't gone out too much in St. Louis, so it was kind of cool to get a brief on a whole lot of different bars in the St. Louis area. I started at Wheelhouse. I've been there before, and then kind of bounced around.
That was my first time at Wheelhouse.
Wheelhouse was cool.
Yeah, Wheelhouse was a vibe.
A dozen different spots is a lot.
Yeah, I don't even think we hit 6. We might have hit 6 spots. The line from McGurk's was insane, so we ended up finding this cool, I'm gonna call it a hole in the wall because I didn't know it existed until that night. The Steel cash bar, by the way, did kind of hit a fat charge on my card to take cash out at that ATM. However, we ride the next day.
I forgot about that ATM, but that bar was pretty nice. I did have a time. Overall.
It was at that bar, my night went from regular drunk Jacob to extremely drunk. So if you saw me, no, you didn't.
That wasn't Jacob. That was evil Jacob.
Evil's crazy.
No, you were having a great night. It was a good weekend overall. But Ethan, how you been doing, buddy? What you been up to?
It was a great weekend. Yeah, just got a little not as lit as your guys' weekend at all. Trisha ran a 5K, a sub 35K, which I'm really proud of her for doing. She crushed her goal time, so really proud of her. I'm working toward my own marathon goal. I'm trying to run a sub 4-hour marathon. It's kicking my butt at the moment, but run far and lift heavy, everyone. That's what I'm on right now in this winter time.
All right, well, let's talk about some ball because a lot of ball has taken place since we last chatted. But I got to start it off with saying the City Boys called it, and I do have proof because a couple weeks ago, before the MLS Cup, City Boys filmed an unaired episode, but the studio held it back because they couldn't let the world know that the City Boys actually write the script for the MLS. We do it every year, just kind of a big thing, but that's why City's been so bad is because we just got the contract, so we have to build character for us, okay? So that's why we did write that. My bad. But it happened almost exactly as we predicted. Ethan actually changed his mind and joined Jacob and I on the train, the Miami hype train, and it would be Inter Miami beating Vancouver, Thomas Muller, Brian White, and all those haters over in Vancouver to beat them to the MLS Cup. His first MLS Cup for the GOAT. I'd love to ask him whether he would trade that in for another, little plastic Champions League cup, or which one he values more. I don't know. But along with that, he earns his second consecutive MLS MVP award, which is pretty crazy considering the only other player to ever do that was Preki, the Kansas City Wiz legend. But actually, he did a little bit better because Preki did not win back-to-back. Messi did win back-to-back, which I'm surprised that no one like Sebastian Giovinco, Josef Martinez. I thought Landon Donovan surely had more than one MVP award considering it's named after him, but he's only got the one as well, so that's kind of crazy. But, yeah, good for Messi. I'll clap it up for him, whatever. It's like his 48th trophy or something like that.
Hey, I know Ronaldo doesn't have any Landon Donovan MLS MVP awards in his trophy cabinet, so
Sure.
Score one for the 10 conversation.
This match also marked the end of an era for two legends of the game. It kind of made me tear up a little bit watching the match, knowing that this is going to happen. But it was the final match for Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets, the former Barcelona brothers that, followed Messi and Xavi and Iniesta and all of them to Champions League greatness back in the early 2010s. So, gotta say goodbye to some absolute legends. It's going to be interesting to see how Inter Miami will reload. I actually saw they did make a signing today. They signed Sergio Reguilon. He is the new Jordi Alba replacement. So,
It's a good pickup.
it's a pretty darn good pickup. But let's talk about, was there any major upsets in the playoff bracket that really freaked you guys out? I think NYCFC had a really good run that I think surprised a lot of people. That was pretty big.
The double overtime, Vancouver winning on pens, down a man to LAFC.
I was going to say, it has to be Vancouver finally beating their Titan,
Yeah.
LAFC. I think LAFC has stopped them from advancing in the playoffs something like 5 times, and LAFC has existed for less than 10 years. So it's a bad ratio for the Vancouver Whitecaps, and they finally were able to get over that hump just to meet Leo Messi and company in the final, dude. Tough scenes for the Vancouver 11. In my opinion, the more deserving team on the night. Evening, I guess.
I think the LAFC call was the only thing we got wrong in our predictions. That, and I believe we thought that San Diego was going to beat Seattle and move on to face, Vancouver or LA or whoever we thought was going to.
I also think you two boys had Charlotte getting past New York.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
I thought Zaha would carry
Not me,
through the playoffs.
I got outvoted on that one, but I was an NYCFC believer.
NYCFC, they're a sneaky team. But I guess that's pretty much all I have for the MLS Cup this year. I felt like watching the celebrations, they seem different than a regular end of the season trophy. Usually you see everyone, lift the trophy in front of the fans one by one. But after this match, they kind of, Messi lifted the trophy, and then they all just kind of walked around the stadium.
There was also a lot of coverage on Jordi Alba and Sergio Busquets, which, rightfully so, they did retire, but...
Yeah. It was an interesting one. But either way, the MLS Cup has wrapped up, meaning this MLS season is now officially over, and we are in the off-season. So I'm sure all of you guys have been very patiently waiting, just like all of us, to see if City would actually do anything. So far, we haven't got much movement, but we did have some movement. We've got Corey Ray. He's officially part of the club now. Saw that last episode. And he possibly, allegedly, is making his first signing of the season. Ethan, would you like to walk us into that conversation?
Well, per the City Boys, we are rumored to be in talks with Nobody, the player, legend of Nowhere FC.
Legend of
But
No
per
Club.
Tom Bogert, we have a very, very recent Tommy bomb to drop on everyone, which is that St. Louis City have officially, well, not officially, unofficially got our head coach, Yoann Damet. They still have final details to sort out according to Tom Bogert, but Damet is going to be our guy. Gentlemen, this is big news. This is kind of the tone-setting signing of St. Louis City's winter, potentially our season. And it was not who anyone was expecting. I think that people had resigned to either oh my gosh, I'm drunk, David Critchley or Laurent Courtois. And it is neither one. It's Yoann Damet, a former Galaxy assistant coach, former FC Cincinnati interim head coach, as well as assistant, as well as working with Corey Ray for 2 years at the Columbus Crew under Wilfred Nancy. So the man has some pedigree, okay, especially in the MLS, which is something that fans have wanted, myself included. Jacob, how are you feeling about this news from Tom Bogert? Because like Grayson said, it's still all unofficial. There's still a lot of paperwork that needs to be signed, I'm guessing. Still a lot of T's that need to be crossed, I's that need to be dotted. But where do you stand in the meantime?
Well, first off, when I read the name, my first thought was who?
Who?
Damn it!
And then everything that I could possibly say throughout the rest of our take on it is not directed at Mr. Dammit himself. It's going to be directed at Corey Ray, seeing as this is his first ever business with the club. And in pre-episode talks, I chatted with Grayson, so I'm actually going to let him take it away from here, and then I'll jump on his bandwagon.
Okay. So the conversation I was having with Jacob, basically, it is a kind of a tone-setting signing. Like, I feel very conflicted. It's a very St. Louis City, not flashy signing, especially after a flashy signing being Olaf Melberg. Maybe this is the path we need to be on. But I thought that not so flashy signing would be David Critchley. And I think that it's kind of confusing because if you want to take that path, you want to take the path of someone who hasn't really been a head coach anywhere. Well, I know someone who has. David Critchley has been the head coach of St. Louis City for a little bit of time now. 2 mixed results, but, decently positive. I think he's won the fans over. I think he's won the team over. So it's interesting to have this name come out of nowhere, have them not be... I mean, they have experience in the MLS. They have experience coaching, but not to the level of, a big name signing in the league. So it's interesting. I'm not, super excited about it, but it's on the path of what we thought was going to happen. I kind of want to roll with it. I'm going to put my trust in Corey Ray because, like I told Jacob earlier, I certainly hope that he knows more about footy than I do. And I think he does, and I think hopefully he's made the correct decision and we have our new leader. But it also sounds like they were like, Corey, you got to decide now. Who are you going to pick? And he's like, yo, damn it, fuck. And they're like, oh, I know him. Write that down. So I don't know.
We can get him.
We got him. Not officially, but I don't know, I'm conflicted. It's not really a great answer. It's just a lot of confusion. Ethan?
Jacob, what are you feeling? Because you wanted to piggyback off of Grayson. So before I give my official 2 cents.
I'm with Grayson on the confusion. It doesn't make a lot of sense to me as far as putting Critchley's resume up against Damet's resume. I think they are very similar in what they have accomplished in the MLS so far. Dammit has some uh, actual hardware underneath his belt, but I don't know really how integral he was. What I do know is how integral Critchley was to rebuilding the foundation of the club after Olaf Melberg left, and I think that that is getting overlooked to his detriment. And I have not been shy on this podcast about being a Critchley believer and wanting to give him an entire offseason as well as a season to really start to string together some of those wins we were starting to see towards the end of this season after he had done all that work to rebuild the locker room and rebuild the brand from within. And now we're going to switch it up with a guy that the team doesn't know. Actually, the only person that does know him is our sporting director. So it feels slightly nepotistic in a hiring as opposed to what's actually going to benefit the on-field play and butts in seats. And as your first act, you're going to sign someone you are familiar with, but that hasn't proven anything to the city is kind of a crazy route to go, in my opinion. Nothing against Dammit, everything against Corey Ray right now. So I hope you prove me wrong. But if you don't, the leash is very short from me.
Interesting. Keeping him in the hot seat early on. I see. Well, yeah, I think that's completely fair, Jacob. We were promised playoffs from the ownership last season. Obviously, we did not get there. We've missed the last two seasons. Expectations are really high from fans, and I'm assuming ownership alike. All we've heard from players like Roman Berkey and Corey Ray is that we have an ambitious vision for the club. This pretty vague idea that sounds really good, but also is corporate speak for we are going in a direction that I guess everyone believes in. So I can appreciate an ambitious vision, but right now I'm waiting to see it. We still haven't made any signings in the off season other than our head coach, who, like you said, only has temporary stints as an interim man. So potentially more experienced than Critchley, not to a high degree though.
Yeah.
I will say, excluding his time at FC Cincinnati, he comes from clubs with some pedigree, including the LA Galaxy and the Columbus Crew. Those are two clubs that I consider to be historic in the MLS. And if you were going to set a bar or a standard, those standards would be good ones to be setting. So I like that we are backing up some MLS DNA. If I had to put how I feel on it in a word, it would be okay. I'm not super impressed by the signing. I'm not super I don't hate it. So I'm just waiting. I'm waiting to find out what we'll see from Damet, and we'll go from there.
The only other bit of news that is official coming out of St. Louis City is that we have lost somebody in the office. We've lost John Hackworth. John Hackworth has been drafted by the Navy. No, he's just coaching the Naval Academy college soccer team, which is actually pretty cool. Like, that's something exciting. Getting to start a head coaching position in the D1 college. See what that's like and see exactly what that's going to do for Hackworth's career. And I know it's kind of a bummer because I really liked Hack and everything he was doing in St. Louis City. And honestly, I don't want to say it's like a step down, but I feel like Hack is so capable. He's very capable. I think he's going to be very successful at the Naval Academy. So we'll see how it goes.
I agree with that. I'm hopeful that it wasn't in bad blood that he took a job outside of the organization and decided to move on with his own career, because he has been here through all of the downs that we've faced recently, and it seems like his voice was one of reason and power in the club. And then as soon as Corey Ray got in, pretty quickly it felt like Hackworth took a job somewhere else. So I'm hopeful that there's no bad blood there and it was just a personal decision for him to move on.
I agree. I think that John Hackworth was a very original member of the club, someone that founded us to get to where we are today. and someone that was very admired among players and staff alike. So someone that had my respect, most definitely. Joey Zanaboni spoke really highly of him as well. So I feel like the Navy got a good one. My grandpa was in the Navy, so I'm happy about it. Go Navy.
I guess the only other thing, I mean, everything else is speculation at this point. But I'd say that the lack of news on certain people is very telling. Specifically, Henry Kessler, and also throw in Conrad Vollum, because there's not a lot of speculation regarding Vollum. There's more speculation regarding Kessler, but both of them are still in contract negotiations. Corey Ray, I mean, has to be involved now. He's at the club. He's here. He's making decisions now. So I assume he has joined those conversations with those players, and hopefully it will come to a conclusion that works out for both the player and the team, and we keep both of these players on good contracts. But yeah, it's every day we don't hear anything. It almost seems like Henry Kessler might be on the way out. And that kind of hurts my feelings. He will be missed if it does end up that way.
Can I play a little bit of devil's advocate?
You may.
Sure.
So St. Louis City wasn't great last season.
What?
And returning a lot of the same players. Do you guys I know that we're going to have a new head coach, but do you guys think that returning a lot of the same players is a solution to build a winning roster? Do we think that we had a winning roster beforehand? Because I would miss Henry Kessler personally. I'd like Henry Kessler. I think he's a great player to represent St. Louis City. But if our new sporting director and head coach can go out there and find a better player, then that's what I want.
I mean, yeah, if we can upgrade, I'll always take the upgrade. But I'd have to say that there were other players on my shit list before Henry Kessler.
Sure.
Yeah, that's kind of a thinking route that I was having. Is like, I don't disagree that trying the same thing multiple times and getting the same results, that's literally the definition of being insane. But I don't know if Henry Kessler was the problem. Like, he was
That's a
injured
good point.
when he was on the field. He was very integral to having a stout back line. Like we saw in the first 5 matches, we didn't concede a goal. He was one of those defining factors in those matches, and then he got hurt, and then our season took quite a downward turn. So I don't know that Henry Kessler being the subject matter for that statement is necessarily fair. Now, if you would have started it with like Alfredo Morales coming back to the club, that's when I would have just cashed it in and we'd be 13th again next season.
Yeah. I just wanted to play devil's advocate for a second because I think I would like to have Henry Kessler back as well.
I do think a really fair one for that thought process that did get re-signed is Josh Yarrow.
Yeah.
I think that's a fair comment to make. Like, did Josh Yarrow make us better? Is he gonna make us better in the future? Probably not.
Yeah. It's a hard one. There's still a lot of time in the off season to get this done. We'll have to see how Ray values these pieces and see how they're all going to line up and fit in this puzzle. But moving into the final section of the episode, we're going to cover some other St. Louis news. Jacob, you wanna kick it off?
I will kick it off. So, if you're a real soccer head like the three of us are, you were probably following in-depthly the St. Louis Billikens run in the national tournament. It was electric. I personally was unable to catch any of those games live, but did I watch the extended highlights on YouTube? You sure right, I watched. They made it all the way to the Final Four before losing to NC State. Very proud of our Billiken boys. I thought they were kind of on a Cinderella run, especially winning 2 matches in the playoffs in penalty kicks. I was like, wow, they could really do it. And in a time in which we've had a professional team, St. Louis University has still brought home more hardware than our senior professional athletes have. So I really wanted them to win the whole thing, but unfortunately they did not. And yeah, still proud of them.
Yeah, I'd have to, shout out. I mean, everyone played crazy. St. Louis was, I think, coming into this final match, the hottest team in college soccer, scoring wise. I think we had scored 21 and conceded 11 in that run. And a big shout out to our goalkeeper.
Yes.
I think his name's Jeremy Abinell. But he was absolutely playing out of his mind. Had multiple penalty saves that saved SLU's run. Won a couple of penalty shootouts as well. So got to shout out the boys because, I mean, that's a tough way to go out. We made it to the Final Four. And I tried to check this beforehand, but I think this is the first time we made it to the Final Four or the college tournament since 1981, sometime in the 80s. Either way, the moral of the story is it's been a long time. So for SLU to, get hot, stay hot, beat some teams that are, objectively probably way better statistically and, ranked. SLU went into this tournament completely unranked. So to get there, I mean, to make it all the way here, I'm very proud of them. I'm sure all of you guys are too, but pretty historic run from the SLU boys this year. Don't know what the fuck a Billiken is still, but I'll do some research. I'll look into it.
But we respect the Final Four College Cup bound Billikens for sure. That Panenka save was awesome.
What happened for another St. Louis-based soccer team, though?
Oh, so if you thought you were a real soccer head because you knew what was going on with SLU, I'm going to show you what a real sicko looks like because we're going all the way down to the Division III level because Jacob and I play at that level. Shout out to all our Division III athletes because the Washington University Bears are NCAA Division III national champions. The women's soccer team went out and won the national championship. But hold on, because this isn't even the biggest news. They're back-to-back national champs. Insanity, man. I couldn't believe when I saw that. I was so shocked. I felt very proud of the city. If you've ever had the chance to see Wash U's field, it's incredible. I think it's called Olympic Field because it's where they hosted the 1904 Olympics. That is so cool.
That is cool.
That's a really cool piece of history. So shout out to the Wash U Bears. That's awesome. Just really representing for the city. And that's also now my personal favorite Division III program in St. Louis.
Hey, I went to soccer camp there growing up a lot. I went to their goalkeeper training camp, which I'd recommend to anyone who's growing up looking to play some ball and learn and improve. The Washington University soccer camps are awesome every summer. They have a outfielders camp and a goalkeepers camp, and then they combine them at the end of the day, and you battle it out. It's a great time. So I'd recommend to anybody listening. Great way to progress. So
Grayson must have forgot everything he learned at those camps in our futsal tournament.
Hey, yeah, the goalkeeper stuff didn't stick with me. I was a way better goalkeeper when I was a kid.
I know y'all remember the SIUE camp, though, that we all did together in high school. That was the time of our lives. So I would recommend doing a soccer camp with your boys for a smaller school. I think that is 100% the move.
Do it.
While we're on the topic of soccer camps, so I'm going through – I did SLU's soccer camp in high school, and I didn't learn until after that Ronaldo – did a training session on Herman Field when Real Madrid was in town.
Oh,
so
shit.
Technically, I can say that I've played on the same field as Ronaldo.
Huh. Look at that. That's crazy.
Yeah. Kind of cool. Anyways.
The more you know.
Jacob, what were you saying?
I don't know. The Ronaldo stat on Ethan's resume kind of threw me. I don't remember what I was going to say. Oh, yeah, no. If you do a college soccer camp with your boys, make sure you turn your dorm room into a mini ball field and play mini ball for hours and really upset the neighbors underneath you in their dorm room for playing mini ball at all hours of the night.
It's the only way to improve.
They're not going to love you as neighbors or on the field because through your mini ball practice, you will improve quite a lot.
We're not doing mini ball for the love of the people. It's for the love of the game.
And if you really want to spice up the scoring on it, you can only score if you've got a nutmeg at the same time.
You're gonna get better, I promise.
Well, is that everything? I think that just about wraps up this pretty short, bite-sized City Boys episode. Any other final notes?
That's all I got, man. It's just great to see your guys' beautiful faces and hear your lovely voices.
Yeah, I gotta say it's good to be back. I missed all of you.
Be on the lookout for the City Boys Awards voting coming up soon. We got a plan for that.
It's the
follow
end
us
of the
on
year.
Instagram
You know what's
if you want
going
to be
on.
a part of voting. We are at St. Louis City Boys on Instagram. Voting takes place there, so if you want your voice heard, we love a comment on YouTube and Spotify, but like specifically go and vote on our Instagram. I'm gonna rip the outro then, folks.
Let's do it.
Thank you guys for
Let's
watching
hear
this
it.
far on YouTube. If you have watched this far, make sure you're like, subscribed, comment. What do you think about Corey Ray's first decision? Is it a Damet, or is it Damet, or is it Damet? If you've been listening on Spotify, make sure you follow and rate 5 stars. Most importantly, folks, do not forget to tell your mother that you love her. Peace.
STL, STL, STL. Bandito, bandito.